Hello and welcome to News at this hour. I'm your host Rika Roy and we start with all the political news. After massive Haryana victory, there were huge celebrations at the BJP headquarters. Earlier today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that BJP's record straight third term in Haryana is the victory of politics, of development and good governance. The Saffron Party clinched 48 of the 90 seats. He led party's hat-trick celebrations in the Haryana Dangal. The BJP defied exit poll predictions and effectively countered anti-incumbency to notch up its best ever tally in Haryana after being in power in the state for 10 years. While addressing the party workers at the moment of victory and thanking them, PM hit out at Congress, calling it an anti-national party.
पहले कांग्रेस सोचती थी कि वो चाहे काम करे या न करे, लोग तो उसको वोट देंगे ही। लेकिन अब कांग्रेस की पोल खुल चुकी है, उसका डिब्बा गोल हो चुका है। कांग्रेस सत्ता को अपना जन्मसिद्ध अधिकार मानती है। आज पूरा देश देख रहा है कि कैसे कांग्रेस हमारे समाज में जाति का जहर फैलाने पर उतर आई है। जम्मू कश्मीर में उसकी सहयोगी पार्टी डर के मारे पहले से कई कह रही थी कि कांग्रेस की वजह से उसे नुकसान हो रहा है और आज के नतीजों में भी वही दिखा है। कांग्रेस ऐसी परजीवी पार्टी है जो अपने सहयोगियों को ही निगल जाती है।
BJP defied all the exit poll predictions and they had a massive win in Haryana. How did they manage it? Here's my colleague Maria Shakil taking a deep dive.
Big picture coming out of the results of today. Remember, these were the first elections after what was seen as surprise result, where the BJP performed well below its own expectations, where it had set the margin of 400 or 400 par, and it had to go in for an alliance government because the BJP won just 240. So the first set of elections after that Lok Sabha surprise result, the BJP is firmly in pole position. The message that is coming in from these results are that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's personal appeal, Prime Minister Modi's personal charisma is intact. He remains the topmost vote catcher for the party. The BJP has retained a crucial state in Hindi heartland after winning Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, an important and emphatic victory for the party, where it is retaining a state where it has been in power for 10 years. So for all the analysts, they have to revisit their lexicon when it comes to the BJP's style of governance. Will this not be seen as pro-incumbency vote? So shifting focus now to Jammu and Kashmir, it's very clear that in Jammu, where there were several the naysayers saying that the party may not do as well, the BJP has retained all its numbers which has come in Jammu and Kashmir, has come from the Jammu region. It has much to learn as far as making inroads in the valley is concerned. Again, another important big takeaway of the results of today is that in a one-on-one contest, whenever there is a direct fight between the BJP and the Congress, the BJP, because of its election winning machine, because of its organizational power, ensures that it wins those elections, and hence they matter more than the Congress party. Look at this. There are two more elections that are scheduled for this year, Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Nobody gave the party a fighting chance in Haryana. They have gone on to register their biggest performance till date at the peak of the Modi wave in 2014 or 2019. The party did not do as well as it has done today in Haryana. So when it goes to states where it has chance, be it Jharkhand or in Maharashtra, The party certainly is going with a lot of enthusiasm. The cadre is hoping that they could spring a surprise also in these states. The big message certainly is that the BJP's hold in the heartland is impregnable. How do you explain the fact that it has been in power for decades in Madhya Pradesh and it has continued to be in power? It has been in power for 10 years in Haryana and is returning with an even bigger mandate.
Now, talking about the other state where elections took place, with the Jammu and Kashmir, the Congress National Conference Alliance has crossed the halfway mark and secured 49 seats of 90, winning the assembly elections, and they're set to form the government. Of these, 42 seats belong to the National Conference, 6 to the Indian National Congress. Omar Abdullah will become the next Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. And here's Omar Abdullah talking to NDTV in one of his very first interviews. Listen in.
So when you actually decided to contest election, I spoke to you that time. And you said the first transaction of business of this government would be in the assembly to pass a resolution, show the rejection of people to what Centre has done on August 5, 2019.
I believe this mandate is a rejection of that. The fact that by an overwhelming margin, the BJP has been kept out of office. The BJP has won seats, but they are very far from the halfway mark. That in itself tells you that the majority of the people of Jammu and Kashmir do not agree with the politics of the BJP. And it is reflected in the way they have voted.
Your manifesto has made several promises, including restoration of statehood, fighting for the 370, giving so many things to the people. Aren't you now under the burden of expectations?
Well, certainly. The burden of expectations is something that we have sort of come to realize over the course of today. It's not just our manifesto. It's the way in which people have resoundingly come out and voted for the National Conference. Considering that we didn't fight all 90 seats, we fought far less than 90.
Exactly.
Therefore, the win ratio for the National Conference.
And I may add, your strike rate is 75%.
Well, there you go. I wasn't aware of that, but it's a statistic that I'll definitely be happy with. No, but coming back to your original point, yes, I think people have a right to expect things from us. And it is our responsibility to deliver on their expectations. Obviously, some of the things that we have promised, we will start immediately. Some of the things that we have promised will require us to work with New Delhi to get our statehood back. But I believe, as I said earlier, that the Prime Minister is an honourable man. We don't say Honourable Prime Minister for nothing. I believe the Prime Minister is an honourable man. He has promised the people of Jammu and Kashmir statehood, and I hope that he will live up to that promise.
And BJP has been saying time and again, first delimitation, after the reorganization, they say first delimitation, then election, then restoration of statehood. How soon you are expecting that to happen?
They said as much even in the Supreme Court. Therefore, I would like to believe, look, nowhere has the BJP ever said that first BJP government, then statehood. Mm-hmm. Even in the speeches of the Prime Minister, nowhere did he say that only a BJP government will get statehood. He said Jammu and Kashmir will get statehood. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the people of Jammu and Kashmir have spoken. And I hope that the Honourable Prime Minister will be magnanimous in restoring statehood to Jammu and Kashmir at the very earliest.
The BJP's Ram Madhav, reacting to the Jammu and Kashmir results, said that BJP has done well in Jammu and will look to make inroads into Kashmir in the near future.
Ram Madhav is joining us, BJP in charge of Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. Ram Madhav was brought in to this role, and then we saw this phenomenal performance of your party. Congratulations, Mr. Ram Madhav. How do you look at the party's performance?
Thank you. And let me at the outset clarify that this performance, which is a spectacular performance, no doubt, but that is not because of me joining a month ago. A lot of effort has gone into it in the last couple of years. from our leaders in Delhi, like Shri Amit Bhai himself and others, but also our state team, state leadership, our party in charges. Everybody has done a lot of groundwork, and I just entered a month ago. We all have collectively worked towards this good victory. I would consider it as a very, very significant victory for BJP. I also worked in 2014 elections in this state. I am sure you all remember that. The victory at that time was also a very big victory. We won 25 seats at that time. This time we won 29 seats. But the importance of this result is that we won almost all the seats, I would say, of the main Jammu region. If you exclude the Doda Kishtwad and what generally is described in this area as Pir Panchal region, the entire Jammu voted for BJP. And that's the reason why today BJP stands as the #1 party in terms of vote share. We have close to 26% vote share as against NC's 24%. The reason being massive support we got from Jammu. Right. I think that's a very important message that those who are planning to form the government in the state must remember that they don't have any mandate from Jammu, and Jammu's mandate is with BJP. So we all have to work together for the good progress and development of the state.
Ram Madhav ji, as a very close follower, what is a logical time period? I know it's not up to you to decide, but do you believe that are we looking at months, maybe a year? What is your sense of it?
So my feeling is that certainly the Union Territory will get statehood. That is one commitment even Prime Minister gave at the time of the campaigning. Also last week itself he said it. No, we will certainly give the statehood to Jammu and Kashmir UT. It will happen. But you remember one thing: Jammu Kashmir has travelled a lot of distance in the last 5 to 10 years. It gave up that complete terrorist identity today. It's a very peaceful state. We have traveled a distance in terms of separatism also. As I mentioned to you, today even Jamaat has joined the political process, democratic process. It's a big achievement for our country, our democracy. So those in power in this state should be reassuring to the people in Delhi that they won't bring those tendencies back into this region. Then full statehood is possible. Now, here are people who have been demanding release of all the terrorists in jail, demanding restoration of Article 370. With that kind of attitude, if they go to the assembly in the state and then demand that give me statehood because I have to release political prisoners, separatists and terrorist leaders and all, that becomes problematic for larger national security issues. Otherwise, yes, we are in favor of this UT getting statehood sooner than later.
Now, my colleague Vasa Venugopal explains what were the big takeaways from the Jammu and Kashmir polls.
Well, the National Conference and the Congress Party, the pre-poll alliance that these parties stitched up, is in a very comfortable position to form the government. In fact, they have leads in more than 47 seats. They have surpassed the majority mark, and there are important takeaways from Jammu and Kashmir elections this time. To start with, it is a historic election being held for the first time in the last 10 years. It's the first assembly election that's happening in the valley in J&K after the abrogation of Article 370. And of course, Jammu and Kashmir will finally have an elected assembly after a gap of 6 years. Well, the Valley and Jammu have seen a lot in the last 10 years. Abrogation of Article 370, the special status going away, delimitation happening, and of course the rule of LG, and of course SC and ST statuses being given to different communities. So a lot has been witnessed in Jammu and Kashmir, which is why these elections assume a far important role. But 5 important takeaways from what happened today. Remember, NC and Congress have surpassed the majority mark, but PDP in some ways has put out a very disappointing performance. The first important takeaway is the fact that this is a big win for democracy in J&K, and let me cite the voter turnout numbers to give you proof for that. The fact is there was a voter turnout of at least 64% that was recorded in the recently held Jammu Kashmir Assembly polls, which is much more than what was recorded even in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. And this means that voters were enthused to vote. Like I said, the Valley and Jammu have gone through a lot, which is why the voters really wanted to get their voices heard. And this was also reflected in the high number of candidates. For instance, there were more than 908 candidates who were in the fray in this contest, and 44% of them were independents or people from smaller parties. The next important takeaway is the fact that NC has made a remarkable comeback. The year, of course, did not start well for the Abdullah. So Omar Abdullah of the National Conference lost his election in Lok Sabha to Engineer Rashid. He fought from Baramulla, and of course, this time there was a lot of back and forth over his decision to whether contest elections or not. He did not want to be an MLA in an assembly that he felt did not have that kind of powers that he has seen as the Chief Minister of J&K. But of course, he went back on that decision. He made a political call to contest in two important constituencies, Gandarbal, which is his own family constituency, somewhere that his grandfather Sheikh Abdullah contested from, and of course from Badgam, which is where the Shia vote is extremely influential. Omar Abdullah is actually winning from both constituencies, which makes NC's comeback all the more, it makes it sweeter for NC. Remember, NC always brags and is always proud about the fact that it is the only party in the Valley which has cadre in every district. So this is a big win for Omar Abdullah, who is going to be the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. The next, of course, big takeaway is NC sweeping the Valley and BJP improving its performance in Jammu. If there's one thing that this election has thrown up is the fact that Jammu and Kashmir, of course, is polarized, electorally polarized, with Jammu being for the BJP. BJP has emerged as the top two party of Jammu and Kashmir, improving its performance of 27 seats. In fact, it won 25 seats last time. This time it has already won 27 seats, which means that it is the second most important party in J&K, which also means that the BJP is working on a long-term plan. Remember that the BJP had already reached out to Muslim candidates in Pir Panjal area. It has already given ST reservation to certain communities like Pahadis, and of course SC reservation, and also voting rights to Valmikis. NC, on the other hand, making it very clear, sending out a message that it is the most important party when it comes to Kashmir, which is why even in the Valley, some very important seats like Lal Chowk and Birwa have gone to NC. The next important takeaway is, of course, the fact that Congress failing to make a mark, especially in J&K. And this was in some ways predicted, because Omar Abdullah, the ally of Rahul Gandhi and Congress party, himself reprimanded the Congress party and said that Rahul Gandhi and the Congress leadership need to focus more on Jammu and not on Kashmir. Last time, Congress won 12 seats. This time, it has won just 6 seats and just one from Jammu. So clearly, Jammu is where the Congress party seemed to have really messed up in, and this was also, reflected in the fact that it did not have working precedents from prominent communities like the Brahmins or Mahajans, and of course it did try to make some corrective actions, with even Priyanka Gandhi rushing to Jammu for the last leg of campaigning, but clearly that wasn't enough. Jammu used to be a Congress stronghold, but now it is the BJP that is reigning supreme in Jammu. Next, of course, it is the end of road for PDP, one of the most important mainstream parties of Jammu and Kashmir. Mehbooba Mufti's own daughter, Iltija Mufti, has lost from her constituency. Wahid Para, of course, has won from Pulwama. The other constituencies where PDP has won from is Kupwara. But remember that PDP, was the party that aligned with the BJP in 2014. It was seen as a betrayal of sorts, and the abrogation of Article 370 has had the maximum impact on PDP, with the party in some ways getting crushed, and several people from the party, including people like Altaf Bukhari of Apni Party, leaving the party to join others, or for that matter, come up with their own party. So this in some ways could be the end of road for Mehbooba Mufti, but she has clearly said that she is very happy about a stable government being formed, and she has also talked about how this would be good for Kashmir, and she has actually congratulated National Conference. Of course, then you have the independents and smaller parties failing to make a mark. Let me also tell you that some of these independents have actually managed to get about 12 to 13% vote share in Kashmir Valley, which makes it clear that they can't be completely dismissed. But be it Sarjan Barkhati, who was contesting against Omar Abdullah, or Engineer Rashid's party, Awami Ittihad party, which actually had the influence of Jamaat Islami, and of course Jamaat Islami itself had about 10 candidates. These parties have failed to make a mark in Jammu and Kashmir. Some of them have actually made a mark, but these are mainly 3 independents who have managed to win against NC candidates. But largely there was a lot of noise, and there was a lot of curiosity as to what these independents would do. They were either being called proxies of the BJP, or they were being seen as the X factor of this election. That really has not happened. Of course, then Jamaat Islami, one of the oldest organizations in Jammu and Kashmir, has been politically active since 1987, but after that it has only been active in calling for boycott of elections. Jamaat Islami also in some ways fielded candidates this time. In fact, 10 candidates were fielded by Jamaat Islami, but the focus was completely on development. Jamaat Islami, remember, has been banned by the centre under the stringent UAPA law for supporting militancy. But Jamaat candidates, all 10 of them, have lost. So clearly, Jamaat failing to create any influence there. In fact, the CPM candidate from Kulgam, the Red Island of Jammu and Kashmir, M.Y. Tarigami himself has also defeated a Jamaat candidate. So clearly, this is the independents have not really, succeeded in making the kind of mark that they were hoping for. And of course, the last and most important thing is the relationship between the Chief Minister and LG of Delhi. Both Rahul Gandhi and Omar Abdullah have been talking about how they don't want to be ruled completely by Delhi. They want, rule of Kashmiris, and how this is very important for Jamhuriyat, and that is what Omar Abdullah has been constantly talking about. But clearly, with the mandate of the J&K Organisation Act making it clear that there have to be 5 nominees from the LG, all of this, is expected to become a fault line between the LG and the Chief Minister. But the CM, Omar Abdullah in this case, will have to work with LG, to ensure that Jammu and Kashmir gets the best and it gets what it deserves.
Time for a tiny break on the show. Coming up next are all the news around the 70th National Film Awards. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The 70th National Film Awards honoured artists and filmmakers from the Indian film industry. Kantara star Rishabh Shetty was felicitated for the Best Actor in a Leading Role. Mithun Chakravarti was honoured with Dada Saheb Phalke Award by the President of India, Draupadi Murmu. Those are the pictures on your screen of Mithun Chakravarti, the veteran actor from Bengal, receiving his Dada Saheb Phalke Award. Composer Pritam was given the Best Music Direction Award for his work in Brahmastra. Best Music Direction Award to A.R. Rahman for Ponniyin Selvam Part 2. Manoj Bajpayee won the National Award for the 4th time.
That suspense audiences in a continuous state of...
Well, that's all we could pack into this bulletin. Thanks for watching.